Okay, so sensory adaptation has to do with when you first receive a stimulus, these receptors are firing frequently, but then after a certain amount of time, if the stimulus is maintained, those receptors do not fire action potentials as frequently. Okay, so as it says on the screen, thank you, you reduce the firing rate. Sorry, I should point that way. Okay, meaning they're not generating as many action potentials. That means what? Less information is going into the central nervous system or your spinal cord. All right, so what are some examples where we've all experienced, I'll go back here, sensory adaptation? Let's go back to our example of vision. Let's use the visual system as an example. So what happens when I first go outside? I leave the library, nice subdued area, concentration, calming effect. And then you go outside in the bright sunny day.
Pupils adapt to the...
Right, so you're like, oh, it's really bright, but what's going to happen after just a few minutes or even less? The same amount of intensity of sunlight is perceived to be less, right? Because our system has adapted. I mean, the sun hasn't changed. It's our system has adapted. Those receptors that were going crazy when you first walked out into the bright sunlight start to calm down. They don't send as many action potentials into your brain. Okay, it's because you've experienced sensory adaptation. Okay, what are some other ones? What one were you going to use as an example?
Just wearing your clothes every day, you start to not even know they're there. You don't feel them.
Right, so that's a good one. You put your clothes on when you first put them on. And we kind of take it for granted, but after a while, you just forget about them, if they fit. Which brings us to, I had these pants 10 years ago. So, I'm like, yeah. I haven't had them on for a year. I know they're kind of tight, but the fact I can still wear them, I got to feel good about that. So, I think all it's doing, though, is pushing my gut up, So. Anyways, I think the point being is that I'm noticing today, and usually you don't notice your clothes. Back to the example. How about this number? Where the absent-minded professor, you're running all around the house going, I can't find my glasses, we can't leave to go to the game. And then, Daddy, they're right on top of your head. So that's the classic absent-minded professor's thing where you put your glasses up. Right now, obviously, I'm feeling them a lot. My skin receptors on my head are being activated, but if I left them up here a little bit of time, my sensory systems would adapt, and if I couldn't consciously remember it, I'm not really feeling them.